Kelsi, I know you felt like y'all are so close to a breakthrough, and it felt like y'all might get it tonight. Just tough loss. How tough is it to be that close and to not come out with the win that y'all were seeking?
Oh, it's definitely tough. I mean, it sucks, you know? I mean, quite frankly, I mean, it's hard. And honestly, I feel bad for my team because they're playing so hard. But like I reminded them today, the margin of error is very small. And we still made some mistakes that are fixable. And so no matter what, they have to stay the course. And when you go through hard things, you know, like I reminded them, there's hard things in life. And, you know, you're going to get knocked down. You're going to fail. A lot of things are going to happen in life, but you got to keep getting back up. You got to keep showing up. You got to keep fighting, keep grinding. Because, like I said, I believe that breakthrough's coming, and we're getting closer and closer every opportunity we get. I think we've really done a revamp of the offense. They're really buying in. They're really executing. They're making shots. We got to clean up a few, you know, errors that we're making. Like we call them scout errors. We got to fix a few of those, and you know, and you know, and then at the very end, we missed some layups. We finally got a couple of good looks at the rim, and we got to finish those.
Why the season high for you scoring? Just how ready were you to come into this, and you know, you let it fly today when you were open?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I've been in the gym getting up shots, so whenever you're getting up shots, it makes you a lot more confident in the game. So I just got to continue to get in the gym and get up shots.
Yeah, obviously you're a veteran, seasoned player. How is, from your lens, has this specific team been able to stick together, and y'all are playing just a lot, you know, better right now than y'all were start of conference? What's it taken for y'all to kind of get things more right on track?
Well, it helps that everybody likes each other. Like, we all get along. And then, like, we know that, you know, this is Kelsi's first year. I mean, this is a new group, new team. So, I mean, we're just buying in for each other, just being where our feet are. And, I mean, we all believe in each other, and we know that we have what it takes. But, you know, we haven't been successful yet, but we know that we're right there. So it's like, we know we can't give up.
And obviously this was just a much different game than the one that y'all played up there in Columbia. What do you feel like y'all did differently this time to make it such a back-and-forth competitive game?
I feel like we just executed her game plan better. I feel like whenever we went to Columbia, we just didn't play. We weren't there, honestly. We didn't show up. So I feel like this time we actually just executed the game plan.
Coach, y'all didn't shoot your first free throw until, I think, 40 seconds left in the third quarter. Have you ever been a part of a game like that where you haven't seen your team be at the foul line until that late in the game?
Not in a long time. I quite frankly can't remember the last time. You know, I thought we were really trying to get to the rim. Obviously, we were spraying it for some threes, but I honestly don't remember the last time I've been a part of a game that took my team that long to get to the free throw line.
Right into the second half, Emily hit a three, then Ashlyn had a layup. You go up by two, and then Mizzou comes back with an 11-0 run. How big was that run and kind of turning the time of the game?
I definitely think it was a turning point. You know, I think that's when we called the timeout, and we had to like settle back in. And you know, like you said, we took that lead, and then we allowed them to get some buckets. I think they were off of some defensive errors that we created on our own because we weren't communicating and getting in the right spots.
Against LSU and Kentucky, you played really well in the first half, and then through the third quarter, and then it kind of slipped away from you. Tonight, didn't come out with the win, but probably your best wire-to-wire effort of the year. What goes into that? What goes in from seeing a team play really well for a half or three quarters and then seeing them play really well and just come up a little short?
I think as long as we stay the course, hopefully it gives them confidence. You know, I thought, like I told them in the locker room, we hit 14 threes. We still scored at a high rate. We had 16 assists and only 8 turnovers. So I think we're starting to clean it up in certain areas that we needed to. We're really starting to continue to attack the rim and share the basketball. They're all capable of scoring. We've just got to shrink our defensive errors and shrink some of our transition errors, and then continue to take great shots. There were a few spans in there where we took a few rush shots, and we could have probably got a better one. We got to make sure we clean that up. Like I told them, the margin for error is very slim.
Did you feel like this was a game y'all would take 43 three-pointers? Is that kind of like what y'all thought might be there, or is just how the game flowed?
I told them we gotta let it fly. We can't be scared because they're gonna mix it up. They're gonna run a man. They're gonna run a zone. They're gonna pack it in. And there were a lot of times when we kept attacking, and that wide open shot was a 3-ball, and we were okay with taking it. I believe in my team. I believe in their 3-point shooting ability, and you know we're gonna make 15 threes, and we got 14 tonight. I believe that's gonna happen really soon, and we got to keep believing in that shot, and it allows us to, you know, we were able to get some offensive rebounds off of that too, which I think was a huge asset. But I'm okay with them taking those 3 balls because I believe in their shot.
obviously Slaughter's a handful to try and, I'm sure match up with. But what were y'all doing to try and throw her off, and what makes her just such a tough player to go against?
I think the biggest thing is she can score at all three levels, and the other thing is she has such good post moves. So, if you try to put a guard on her, she's going to post you up and try to pin you in the paint. I thought there were a few times when we did have a guard on, our backside help was late. You got to be there on the catch. You can't be there after she catches it, then you're too late. So I thought a few times with our game plan, our help and our rotation that was supposed to be on her was a step late, and that cost us a couple of buckets that she was able to get.
Wyvette, obviously for Bonnie, her shot wasn't falling tonight, but she slid 13 rebounds, 7 assists. I guess what's it like to have a teammate like that even if like one thing isn't going right, she's still doing the other stuff?
It's great. I mean, we all love Bonnie. She's just one of those players that she's going to play hard the whole time. Like, she's not going to stop. Like, she's constantly playing hard. And, I mean, honestly, it makes me feel a lot better just knowing that she's on the court with me, to be honest.
And then, Kelsi, I'm just curious with Jenna, of course, her roles kind of evolved from, maybe minutes and non-conference and stuff. Kind of guess what's the step for her to get some more minutes compared to, like, how she did in non-conference play?
I think the biggest thing is, for my team from top to bottom, it doesn't matter who it is. I think knowing your defensive assignment, limiting our errors, and obviously, we want everyone, everyone kind of has that green light. I feel like they've got the green light. I feel like they all feel confident in that. And so, being able to make shots, but sometimes it comes down to matchups in a lot of instances, and who we're playing and who can match up and who kind of gets in a rhythm the quickest, especially off the bench. And then, we got to ride our runs at this point. So just, I feel like the other way is in practice, when you're honed in and you're focused in practice, and depending upon the matchups in the game, then that's where a lot of that comes from.
Yeah. And then I just wanted to ask about Emily. This is the third game in a row that she's had a pretty high assist number. Just where have you seen her maybe develop to where she's, it seems like, whenever she's getting people helping on her, she's kicking it out a lot more?
I think that's something we've really been working on in offense. So we do a lot of breakdown. We're really focusing on trying to get paint touches and sharing it. So she really takes heed to that. I think that's the one thing she'll really try to do what you ask of her, and she'll try to execute that game plan. And so when she attacks, she knows if she's got a straight line to the rim, but if not, she's going to try to find her open teammate to try to get someone else a shot. And that's one of her goals on a daily basis, I believe.
Coach, you've gone through SEC play and you've seen your team evolve. Has your message to them changed at all? You kind of in the middle of the drought, is that something where you try to mix things up with what you're telling, or do you try to keep continuity, just keep, like you've been saying, stay the course?
I think continuity is huge. I think trusting the process and staying together. I always say the team that stays together and plays together will win together, and we have to stay together. Like I told him earlier, like I think I mentioned before, you usually have to fail before you succeed. Most success stories start with, something that happened. And so you have to continue to fight and grind. And I think if we stay the course and continue the build, we're getting better every single day. I mean, every single day we take the court, I definitely believe in our progress, and I know the progress will pay off.